You're good? You're going there?
You want me to just get you?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so then we're going to just do a quick winter inspection. All right. I'm getting a lot of questions as to what do the bees do over winter? What is being asked. So a lot of the bees in the country are actually brought south for a more mild winter, so that they don't have to endure a New Jersey winter. And that's, you know, just for the sake of it. It's easier on the bees to put them on a truck and bring them south, and then overwinter more in a cooler area, even though it is pretty cold in whatever, North Carolina or Virginia. And then they're brought to the almonds in about, I think that's February. All right. There's nobody that ships bees to almonds out of New Jersey because they're mostly a southern thing. All right. So in New Jersey, we're still lighting a smoker. All right, because then that allows us to be without a veil. We were talking about being stung just before the camera started rolling. The bees that are here are winter bees. They're different anatomically than the summer bee. They have more fat bodies, which is a liver-like organ that processes nutrients and food.
Much darker too. You can see the difference between summer
and they certainly could be darker. Yeah. So I think, and it's just my thought, that they are also, their venom hurts a little bit. A winter bee. All right. So if you take a look, the cluster is here. All right. You can feel the warmth coming off the bees, and they're not in the corners, and they're going to cluster up. They're going to vibrate their wing muscles in order to stay warm. This colony's got a good amount of honey on them. You can feel this because you guys got bees. That's enough honey for them. And you just want to do like a little hoof test, like, oh, that's too heavy. I'm not going to pull a frame out because I feel like a lot of new beekeepers, they do all these inspections to get to know their bees and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And they end up causing them problems. You know, yeah, they're learning a lot, but like if every inspection you kill bees, if that one bee is the queen, well then you just killed your queen. I'm going to take my Apivar out. Apivar is my mite treatment, and I do not want to touch it. I couldn't find my needle nose, and I'm going to put it right there in the sun. And then I'm going to go into my pink box very quickly. All right, so I crack it. So it's 100% cracked off that bottom box. I can move it over. I can give them a little smoke. So notice that there's a cluster here of very few bees. There's not a very big cluster. All right, I wish there was more bees in this hive. I'm actually gonna end up making a note that they have good honey stores, but their population's a bit down. So in the spring, when I get an opportunity, or late winter, when I get an opportunity to put Apivar in again, I might take this pink box out completely, so that they're keeping warm only the green. Yeah. So.
The question: how long are you keeping the mites?
So that's a Apivar strip. So Apivar, classic. Go read the label, because
14 days, I think.
No, it's much more than 14 days. It's a 6-week treatment. It's 42 to 56 days. Now, every time I use a chemical, I go and consult the label, not just what the label is saying, but also the Honeybee Health Coalition. They have this excellent PDF with all of the, like a summary of all of the chemicals that you can use in a hive that are certified for what's the proper protection, what's their use, what's their efficacies, and it breaks it down for it. So like I constantly consulting that document. So yeah, it's a whatever amount of treatment. On my calendar, it said that it needed to come out this weekend. So I had this weekend to take it out.
Is this the only hive that had the Apivar strip? So you
No,
have
everybody,
all
in
of
this,
them?
everybody in this yard
Okay.
got the same treatment.
Gotcha.
And uniformity in that way, so to keep things sane.
Right. Yeah.
I ran through these hives yesterday. I took Apivar out yesterday. And everyone got this one.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just so we can do this today. But notice, like Apivar is time sensitive in the way that you need to get it out when it's due to get out. So if you're not comfortable working your bees in the cold, then don't use it.
Right.
Because if it was cold now, the bees would be grumpy.
Right.
And I was quick about it. Boop, boop. You know, a needle nose would have made that more. Would have happened. It'd go more quickly. But that's a sensitivity there. So I'm really planning my mite management reevaluating it every 6 months. But I'm planning it out 6 months ahead. You know, I hit them with Formic in July and June, and then Apivar now, and then I'm going to hit them with the oxalic acid vapor next week. So this would be an excellent day for it. That cluster's a little light, not as, you know, tight.
Warmer out. Yeah.
And so they're a little loose, but they're all home.
Yeah.
That's perfect temperature for that also.
And you mentioned in another or late winter we're gonna do another Apivar strip treatment, right?
Yeah.
And do you only do that twice a winter, or do you do it multiple times?
I only do.
I guess it's not really winter now.
These hives are gonna get Apivar a second time.
Okay.
Because this is the first time they've seen it.
Okay.
But I'm also trying to reduce my use of it. You're not supposed to use it more than twice a year.
Okay.
And that's that document speaking through it.
Gotcha.
And we should even try to reduce it even more. So like the breeding program, we're gonna try to target that mite treatment, the one that we just used, first. So next year's nukes, all right, they're gonna come with a Apivar strip. And then, because these are next year's nukes, when I was saying that these bees are going to get it, this is them.
Okay.
I'm going to split this hive into two and sell you one. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And then they're going to get monitored for varroa in June, okay? And then the ones that are low are going to be noted, and then they're going to be treated again with Formic before it gets hot. And then we're going to monitor another 3 times, and the ones that are not don't have mites spiking, we're going to go in with tweezers and monitor their brood. Their drone brood. And then the ones that are zeros in the mite wash and zeros or low in the drone brood, those are the ones that we're going to forego Apivar treatment. And then the ones that survive from those, we'll graft queens from. And those will be the population that will go into next year's generation. Let's do that over 50 times. In 51 years, we're going to be drinking margaritas instead of treating for mites, you know? But that's it. It's 51 years, you know, of keeping bees. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be aggressive about it for the next 50 years. Yeah.
It is worth it to get the drone frame to control the mice and freeze it.
So I don't believe that the methods are to freeze it. I think it's to actually pull them out.
Or just pull them out.
Pull out 100, and that gives you another level. The mites like drone brood, because the drone brood is capped for a longer period of time than a worker brood.
Yeah.
So worker brood is 21 days from egg to emergence. Drone is 24 days. That extra 3 days is capped. So then that mite can actually get another female in the generation. So instead of 2 mites emerging, there's 3 mites emerging. And so then you pile that on.
Yeah.
You know,
So many adds up.
it would go
Exponential.
astronomical.
Yeah.
So there was just a study published recently where that's the new thing, drone brood monitoring, being a little bit more accurate in those regards. But we're also going to be doing both. And it's expensive to do drone brood monitoring because it's time costly. You know, I'm not going to go ahead and do that for 1,000 hives. That would be insane. I would go crazy.
No, I have 2. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Could you imagine do this?
We're gonna find the 10 that are worth that time. That's what it is. We're gonna find the 10 that are worth that time, and then only do those 10, because it's 1,000 hives.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
That's gonna be crazy, you know. And that's 100,000 drones that you're gonna look at for a mite. You know, that's crazy.
That's just here. That's not even like the other places that you have to travel to hives, right?
Well, yeah, like we're gonna have about 500 colonies here, and so let's say hopefully five are worth that time because they're keeping their mites low. You know, I think we'll worth that time, whatever it is. We'll do a minimum of 10. I don't know exactly what it is,
Yeah, gotcha.
and that's something that's being just kind of doing it. Like I don't know, I'm kind of like acting as an starting and planning it all at the same time. The planning is just like just 6 months behind the actual. I don't know.
So I will go back to this bees. They are winter bees.
They're winter bees.
That means you don't need to cover the hive with the cushion.
Insulation is good. There is a lot of benefits to insulating the hives. It's easier to heat. There's going to be less heat.
Less work.
Heat work.
Yeah,
Waste
there's
heat.
some amount of heat loss when it's not insulated.
The moisture is the worst, I think.
So yeah, moisture is the killer, but cold moisture is the killer. I'm gonna cutting some foam, and we're gonna insulate all of the tops first. That's more important than the sides, if anything. And then the tops and the sides. That warm, moist air hits the lid, and then hits a cold lid, and it will rain down. One thinking is you want to vent that air off, all right, and just let that warm, moist air leave. But there was an article by John Gott in the New Jersey Beekeeping Association's newsletter, which is probably a reason to join that organization. For his newsletter, is he insulates sides and top, okay? And instead of venting it off, he keeps it in. It stays liquid. And then the bees use that water as like a watering hole so that they can digest honey. Because you need to add water to honey in order to digest it. Insulating without ventilation is the move. Yeah, at least for me. Now, you ask 2 beekeepers what to do, you get 3 answers.
Yes.
And both of them are wrong. It's like,
it's a trial.
exactly.
It's a
If an
trial.
experienced beekeeper
Yes.
watches this video and has gotten through that point, then probably half of them will be like, "Oh, Patrick, that's a dumb idea."
Yeah.
But like,
it's a trial.
it works for me and it works for him. It works.
Why not?
I don't know.
Why not to try it?
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
it works for
Yeah,
everyone.
So,
all right.
but the main thing is varroa. The varroa feeds on that fat body, as opposed to the hemolymph, and so keeping your mites down keep your winter bees healthier. So treating with the formic in July was a good thing, because those bees raised the bees that are here.
So what if the beekeeping missed the July? What's the beekeeping can do now for Varroa?
Well, now is Apivar for me.
Okay,
Also consulting that document of the honeybee health coalition. I actually uploaded it to ChatGPT and I asked it, using this document, what is a fall treatment? And it was like, and it summarized it, and it's like, oh, it reads the document for you. That's the value of that technology.
Yes.
Now you don't have to like skim through this thing, even though you should have it printed out in your library. But it's that's the way that I operate. I use it to read more quickly.
How were your Varroa counts for this year, like from the summer to now? Are they pretty good? Pretty
Out
low?
of control.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had like 20 and 1 and zeros and this and that, and I wasn't consistent enough at monitoring everybody. So I was really just monitoring sporadically, and which is not what you should be doing. You should be monitoring everybody. So then you find those 20s and 30s in a sea of zeros. Because then those are the ones that were found and caught. My biggest thing was I tested everybody, of all 250, in April, and that was the only time I did that. When I did that, I found 4 colonies that had really high mites, and so I tested everybody, killed a bunch of bees in that alcohol wash, but those 4 colonies would be summer collapses. And I think one of those is one of these 2. Yeah. I don't know. But those that spring, early spring, and to see where you are at. Because if you're starting with 4, you're going to have 100. If you start with 1, you're going to have 50.
It's crazy, man.
But yeah, that early season, that monitoring is where I saw such variable. And then after that, everything got crazy, so I didn't have the time to go monitor the way that I wish I was. So yeah, awesome. So thank you, Instagram.